Hi there and welcome back to Triplicate and welcome back to the Mean Green. And I was in amongst working on the Mean Green software, getting all the MIDI stuff working, and I was about to bring you back and give you an update, a progress report, and this happened. Oh, what is all that? And this was on code that was compiling, and that is crazy. So if we look at the top, we get into this. So it's finding it way down in includes, and what way down in bottom level includes. So it's not finding a type inter T defined in the system. So oh my god, what is going on? And this suddenly started happening. I wasn't aware of doing anything, so after a bit of digging around I just tried loading in switch workspace, sorry, the mood light, which was the last thing I was working on before the Mean Green, and that definitely compiled fine, and I haven't touched it. There she is. So project, come on, there we go, project, build all, oh, and stacks and stacks of errors again. So something nasty I think must have happened to the compiler, so I am going to try and reinstall all the compiler, everything, and hope that cures the problem. Okay, so I reinstalled it. Interesting enough, it was the same version as I originally installed in 19, so it must be pretty stable. So this is their default workbench, which has lots of assorted get you going type projects in. So I am just going to know what project this is. This is the Blinky. I'm just going to build this project just to see what happens. Build project. Okay, nothing to do for all, fair enough. Let's just make sure it has something to rebuild, and we'll try again. Right, it should do something now. Right, so it seems to have frozen up. Not good. Right, well, I guess I might try rebooting the computer and trying again. Okay, rebooted. Also trying a different project that I haven't mucked around with. Well, this one. So let's see, what if we build project. Hey, okay, so we will modify this file, which is the main file for this project, so it will try and actually recompile it rather than telling me there's nothing to do. Build project. Success. Right, so it's sort of working. It works on the built-in project. I bet it's lost all my... Yep, It's forgotten all my workspaces. Okay, loaded the base directory, not the workspace, no problem. So project, we try build all, see what happens. If we go, we're in console. Looks good. I put the thing on the verbose, so we're getting a lot of rubbish printed out. That looks good. It's not giving me any errors at all. Well, that was hard work. God knows what I'd done. I'd broken something. Okay, well, I will get back to it, get back to where I was, get what I was working on working, and bring you back, and we'll have a look at some synthesizing instead of development tools playing up. Ah, the joys of software development. Yippee! Error 1. What didn't it like? Undefined. Yeah, that's probably the program I was about to write when it, the function I was about to write when it went funny. Yeah, okay. However, 1 minute 53, 3 minutes 53 seconds. I need to take the verbose option off that. But anyway, we're back in business. Okay, I've cracked on and got the MIDI working as far as I plan to. For the moment, I mean, for instance, it's in Omni mode. You couldn't run it with any other MIDI device chained to it. But the advantage of it being a permanent prototype is that if I need to do something about that, I can just do something about that then. So we have pitch bend. And we have MIDI controllers. You see that? Yeah. So that one is changing the cutoff frequency. And I noticed doing something weird with the display. Okie dokie. And this one, I think. No, that's this one. And that one is controlling the resonance. So there we go. So let's go into the MIDI menu and see how I've implemented it. Okay, pitch bend range, that's self-explanatory, and we set that to a maximum of 12. Now the controllers, I have implemented what I did on the Pulsar, and you get 4 controllers, and for each of those controllers you can assign what it's controlling and the MIDI controller number. So controller 1 number is 16, and pot 1 I've called that because for now I've only made pots available for MIDI controls. Again, I can change that in the future if I wish. So pot 1 is filter frequency, as you heard. Controller 2 number is 17, and that goes to the oscillator mix modulation. Controller 3 number is 1, and that goes to the voice level, and controller 4 number is 2 and goes to the resonance. Simple as that. So if we change the number obviously to any number from 0 to 127, and
that you're just selecting from a list. So now we've set it to panning. Easy. And it also sends MIDI out. So if I play a note, something comes up, yep, we're getting nice MIDI messages coming out, and that's just MIDI aux there. That's just a MIDI monitoring diagnostic program, which is quite useful for this kind of thing if you just want to see what MIDI is actually being generated. Okay, so
okay, I'm trying not to burden you with too much code, but just something I'd like to share with you because it kept me guessing for quite a while. For the MIDI, I've actually used the registers rather than the HAL functions. So to send a byte out to the MIDI, it's the HUART1 instance DR, the data register. And here we have the interrupt function. So I put the bytes to be outputted in a buffer, and it sends the first one out and then gets an interrupt when it's sent, and sends the next one out in the background using the interrupt till it's done. And the interrupt it uses is the transmission empty, that is, the data register is empty. To send a byte, we put it in the data register, and then if no byte is currently in process of being sent, it goes straight into the shift register and shift it out, and you can put another byte in the data register. Does that make sense? Sorta. But it means we can keep the UART going as fast as possible. So we use the transmit empty interrupt, which is called the minute the byte has gone from the data register to the shift register, and this is called whenever the data register is empty. So if we leave it enabled, if the data register is empty, it'll call the interrupt over and over and over and over again in a loop, and the code will freeze up, as I found. So here you can see in this case there's still some data in the buffer to send, so we simply put it in the data register, and that automatically clears the transmit empty interrupt. And if there's no data to send, we disable the transmit empty interrupt here, so it doesn't get called again over and over again. And as I say, that foxed me for some while, so I just thought I'd make a quick note of it. And the first time when we send the first byte, we have to turn that interrupt on, obviously. Hang on, I'll find that in the code, hopefully. There we go. This is when MIDI transmit is not in progress. We send that byte, and then at the end there we enable the transmit empty interrupt. Okay, that's it for that.
okay, that's it for now for the MIDI. Let's move on and see if we can do something with this guy here, this little joystick. Okay, so I've implemented the joystick, so there you go. Now I've just implemented the simplest implementation. Implemented an implementation, anyway, that's what I've done. The simplest one I could think of. So we will go into the joystick menu. So the joystick has right, left, up and down, and each of those it has a scale, which is how much the joystick affects the
whatever it's affecting. It has. And I need to do some kind of a menu lock, because now I touched the envelope pot and it's gone into the envelope menu. Right, back in here, and I'll try not to touch any of the pots. So this is joystick left, which goes to filter resonance, and it has a MIDI number which actually just records the joystick position between the centre and the outside. More of which later. So left is set to resonance, so there we go. I'm now claiming no musical merit on what I've set up here, it's just to demonstrate it. The right, you can see, is filter frequency, so and you can actually see it's quite a good thing, having a sort of rhythmic effect you can put on very easily instead of having to try and fiddle the pot. And I say at this point, I should have mentioned it before, it doesn't actually change the absolute value of the filter, it's actually on top of the filter setting. So it's with the filter quite low. If we turn the filter up, it works on top of the bass filter setting. And so and it's gone into the filter menu. And up, you can see we've set the voice level mod, so there's a sort of tremolo-y effect on. Both in the corner. And what have I done with down? Down is voice level, so it acts like a sort of mute. Not very useful, but there you go. Right, and the scale, as you can see, can be positive or negative. So if we go back up here, if that's right, is filter frequency +2. If I set left to filter frequency, -2, and I need to do something with this as well. It's really fiddly to set these. So if you want the joystick both ways to do the same parameter in opposite directions. So that is how the joystick is implemented, and you can see each joystick has a MIDI number. Okay, so the MIDI. Here we have MIDI aux, and you can see if I move the joystick right, we get controller, well it's MIDI D in hex, 6 for left, 11 for up, and 9 for down. Well, 11 1 1, probably hex. So we can record our MIDI, and this pot is set to 13, so that is doing the same as that. So we can record and play back our joystick movements for sequencing. Good. Okay, well I'm going to call it a day on this video, because that is as far as I wanted to get the mean green for now. Now everything works
in some kind of fashion, and I have a few bugs that I need to fix. And what I intend to do now with the mean green is, and what will be the next video, start to try and make some music with it, at which point I'm sure I will discover new bugs and fix those. And have you ever had a synthesizer or anything else for that matter? You think, if only it did this it would be really good. Well, we are in the position to say, if only it did this, or we can make it to do what we want it to do. So it's not the end of mean green development. I shall revisit it, I think, occasionally. Now it works. We're not crashing on and writing code. We can actually have a bit more fun and hopefully produce more interesting videos of using it and getting into what sounds it can make and how we can make it sound better. Which, as I say, should make for more interesting videos. And I will issue what we've got, so you can download the files and look at them, and if you have any questions do get in touch via the YouTube comments or email me. And thanks for watching all these. I know you are a select band that have followed this build, and I'm going to be doing more synthesizer development of something completely different in the future, so look out for that. And for now, again, thanks for watching, and it's goodbye from Triplicate.
Goodbye.